For our first DIY, we're going to make an elegant indoor mini wreath. I'm going to start by gluing 7 wood blocks in a tight row across the bottom of our bamboo ring. Now, if you're lucky, you can find the 2-pack of bamboo rings at the Dollar Tree. I can never find them at mine, so I just went ahead and ordered a large pack of them from Amazon in 3 different sizes, but I will go ahead and link that in the description box below for you in case you're interested. It was a very good deal. Gave me lots of rings in a couple of different sizes to play around with. I'm using a combination of wood glue and hot glue. You could use just wood glue, but I would not recommend that you use just hot glue. So use a combination of the two, or just use wood glue and wait for it to dry. Next here you see me finishing up the bead stringing. I wanted to just put this on a piece of twine to keep everything lined up neatly. I'm going to glue these little ends here just to keep everything nice and secure, and then we're going to start to attach it to our ring. Very quick and easy process. Now I have chosen several different varieties of my dried flowers, preserved flowers in this bundle. And I'm going to start to put them together the way it makes the most sense, what makes me happy. And you can see that it's very easy. Now when you're choosing your florals for this, if you're going with a natural look, make sure that the stems on your natural flowers are all the same color. Sometimes when you get these in different packs, you can end up with a few with, blue stems or green stems. So if you see here, I've stuck with the natural theme. So we're just tucking a few other things in. I don't think you can see it here real well, but in the back I did glue another tumbling tower block just to keep those flowers there standing up for me. And now as we approach the end, you can see that this is just a strip of pleather from the Dollar Tree. And it has beautiful texture, and that's what I like about it. And right now I'm just kind of deciding if I want to fold these ends in or just leave them nice and raw here, and I've decided to leave them raw. This DIY is beautiful, and you can do different variations. You can paint everything here, and then add different varieties of flowers, different colors. You can add silk flowers, dried flowers, natural flowers like I'm doing. So this is just a decorative nail, or AKA upholstery nail. This 5x7 oval wood blank that came from a different project. It's already painted white, and I'm just putting a clear coat of Mod Podge. Now the video where I actually smoothed this napkin onto the oval is missing. I apologize. I don't know quite what happened to that. And we're going to get into the next step here, and this is just where I take out my air dry clay and I'm working it in my hands to make it nice and pliable, warming it up so that it goes into my mold nicely. Now this mold you can get on Amazon, but I found it for about half the price on Temu, and I'm going to link it below for you. I'm just pushing it in, and I'm shaving off the top and the access, just giving it the little flat surface that it's going to need to adhere to our project. And so I'm going to start here by dusting once again with my cornstarch and just put a little bit of clay in this smaller swallow. I actually don't end up using this smaller one for this project, but I'm going to let it dry and possibly use it for a future project. But as you can see here, I'm just misting the clay while it's still wet with a little bit of water, and I'm just going to make sure that it has just a very, very light coat of water over everything, and this is just going to help prevent it from drying out too fast. And while this clay is still wet, we're going to start painting. Here you see me just doing again a very light coat of a robin's egg blue, and then I'm going to in a moment start to just kind of blend in some of the darker blue, which I believe is just titled Bright Blue. And these colors are by Craftsmart. On my palette there, I also have just some white acrylic paint as well, and that's just going to help me lighten things up, add light tones as I go, and kind of make everything blend nicely. And you'll see over the next few seconds here that I'm just doing what I do. Swallows are typically blue on the top and a white or a darker gray on the bottom, so it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look identical to an actual swallow. But I think this blue is going to really go nicely with our project. And these shades that I picked will give us a nice ombre effect as well. And here you see me just bringing in a little bit of black, just a touch on the eye and the beak of our bird. And then we're going to just continue to work with our blues and white to get the color we want. Once I had my bird looking the way I wanted to have it, I did set this aside overnight and came back in the morning to finish the project. As you can see, I drilled 2 small holes side by side at the top, and this is how we're going to hang it. I chose the braided because I thought it looked a little bit more high-end than just regular skinny old jute twine. So I'm just going to tie it in a knot here, leaving that loop big enough in the back to actually hang. So we have it nice and tight there. And next I'm just going to trim up these little, I guess, what do you want to call them, arms? And I'm going to tie it in a knot once again and use my hot glue. And here in a moment you'll see me start to wrap these little arms, for lack of a better word, around itself to make a larger knot. And this only takes a moment, but I think it just adds a much needed detail. Cleans it up nicely. It makes it look deliberate. Now I also want to add that while I was off camera, I painted the edges of this oval just to give it more of a, I guess, natural wood edge look. Now the back of this project is looking a little ragged because I had attempted originally to put the napkin on this side, messed it up, and started to scrape it off. So here I'm just going to fix it by coating it up with a nice coat of white acrylic paint. And here we are at the end, the final reveal, and isn't she a cutie? For the final project today, I am working with a 5x7 wood shadow frame that I picked up from Hobby Lobby for just a few dollars. Before coming on camera, I gave it a nice coat of Waverley wax, antiquing wax, just to give it some depth and get a nice starting ground for other color. I'm working in a little bit of white paint. I'm using all acrylic paints, which you'll see me do a lot on this channel. I don't use the chalk paint unless I have to. If it's something I'm aging or something I'm wearing down, weathering, then you may see me using the chalk paint, but otherwise I'm an acrylic paint gal. Here I'm just adding in a little more white, a little more of the antiquing wax, and eventually black to just blend it all in together and get the depth and the definition that I'm looking for. I set it aside to dry for about 15 minutes and came back ready to apply my transfers. This is a pack of mushroom transfers I picked up off of Amazon. It's absolutely beautiful. The colors are so saturated that there's just no way you can go wrong with these. This was a bigger pack, and when I got it I thought, oh my gosh, who can decorate with so many mushrooms, because there were just a ton of mushrooms, but there are also other little elements like owls, and I will link it in the description box below so you can see it for yourself. And we're just going to go ahead and varnish this on, and over the next few minutes you'll see me just kind of picking and placing little pieces of other transfers until I get the look I'm going for. And folks, don't ever be afraid to layer one transfer over another. I think it really adds that depth. And when you're doing anything woodland, anything that's whimsical, or anything that's just frankly high end, you're going to have that layering effect in one aspect or another. Now, when you do layer your transfers, like you see me doing here, you're going to be very careful about how you pull that top layer off so that it doesn't pull any of that bottom transfer off with it. Friends, if you like what we're crafting in this video, give me a thumbs up and comment below as to which project is your favorite. And if you want to see more content like this, will you please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you can be the first to know when I've uploaded a new video. The next step is to get the resin into the middle of the shadow frame. And a couple of things you want to do before you pour is to protect the edges of your frame with painter's tape or other crafter's tape. You're going to set this on something that's easy for you to carry the project into another area, like a secure area, to cure. So here you see me with an upside down serving tray, and you're also going to make sure that it's level, which is why you see that little popsicle stick on the side there. I leveled it out just to make sure that everything cures the way that it should. So this part is totally optional. If you truly want this to be a shelf sitter, we need something to prop it up in the back. I'm using a 2-inch hinge from my personal stash and a wood blank that measures about 4 by 4 inches, and this was in a pack of 6 wood blanks that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use E6000 to glue the pieces together and let it cure for an hour or more. More is better. Overnight is even better. And then come back to it when it's dry. And here I am just taking a small wood finial, and I'm going to paint this in a burgundy color by Craft Smart. And this is just meant to go on the top and add just a little extra detail, which you'll see here in just a moment. And there I am measuring with my paintbrush where the center is, and we're just going to stick just a small bead of hot glue on the top, and this just kind of finishes off the look. Before we close, I want to show you a tight shot of a hole that I drilled into my resin from the back. This happened when I attempted to attach the hinge with a 1mm screw and found that it was causing a little bit of trouble. So I'm going to show you here in just a minute how I fixed that.